All right, y'all. Welcome back. Episode 28 of Harrison Talks Pod. I hope you're having a great day. I'm recording this on a Monday night in sunny Thailand. I guess it's not sunny anymore. It's very late. And a Monday morning in America. And trying things a bit different. Usually I record in the morning, but I get so tired of trying to record during the game time and then releasing them after the game time. And by the time I release it, some of the information is old and blah. It's not important. But what is important is why do we need to have afternoon games for the playoffs or just in general? I know I've said it at least 5 times on here before, but hey, it's true. Because a guy like me, I can't watch those afternoon games. I'm happy for the people who, work the 9 to 5s and enjoy those Sunday afternoon games, but I can't imagine that a lot of players enjoy it in particular. Just makes no sense. Anyways, I'm just unhappy that Sunday went by and I could only watch really one of the games live, and then I spent rest of the day trying to catch up while I was doing my other, I guess I'll call it real life things. But anyways, I've given a nice second intro, and that's way too long in my opinion anyways. Unfortunately, I wish I could come on here and just talk about all the good, positive things we've been seeing in these NBA playoffs, and there are a lot. And I could do perhaps a whole episode on why I've been wrong so far. We could do a little Colin Coward section, but we'll do that kind of at the end, I think. We'll kind of sprinkle that in. We're going to touch base on every series that's been going on. One of those is already over. I did not predict any series sweeps, but not surprised that the Thunder and the Grizzlies are over. If I were to predict one, it would be that one. But unfortunately, also we have to talk about the injuries that's also have been going on. So we have some positives and negatives for today. Let's get into it. So let's go top down. It's obvious that the biggest injury news of these playoffs, and there's been too much, of course, is Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard had a non-contact calf injury, and I think everyone's seen the replays so far, and there's no update at the time of me recording this, but by the time you hear it, or by the time I even release this, who knows, we might have an update, but could very well be an Achilles injury. That's what it looks like. And if so, uh, it's very sad for Lillard, extremely sad for Lillard, just everything he's gone through in his career, and puts the Bucks in an even more peculiar situation than if they were to just lose this first round of the playoffs, perhaps in 5 games. So, Indiana won game four. I predicted they would win this series in 6 games. And I'm not surprised with the way the series has gone. It's just super unfortunate that we have to deal with this injury now. It would just be great if we could just highlight everything else going on. And it's hard to really say um, how I can compare it to the physicality of these playoffs so far. The officiating's been rough, that's for sure. We'll mention that a couple of times today, but that's expected. Um, but non-contact injury for Lillard means I don't know how much I should put on the overall physicality of this. The Morant injury has caused lots and lots of debate, and we'll touch just a little bit on that series since it's over. But I think it was a mistake watching it live. I think I know Dort has reputation, but looking at how fast everything was going and that he looks back and he does slip, but does he slip and try to fall forward? That's where the debate goes, and that's where I'm going to end that. So I'm trying to make the comparison because in, I would say, 5 of the 8 series that we have some impactful injuries that will impact the series, and in 6 of the 8, we have team injuries that are affecting the overall depth of these playoff teams. So, it's not something that's uncommon for the playoffs and early in the playoffs after a long season. So, Lillard's probably out. If it's torn Achilles, he could be out all next season as well. And an aging superstar who has not won a championship, and that was a goal coming to Milwaukee 2 years ago. He had deep vein thrombosis concerns and issues in his leg before the playoffs, actually in his other leg. So there's that. And 3-1. Giannis had 28 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists in the last game, and there have been some solid role player games as well. Kevin Porter Jr. 23 points last game. Bobby Portis had 14 off the bench. Gary Trent Jr. in game 3 had 37 points, which matches his, or I'm sorry, which is his playoff career high. But Indiana has just overall been better. Bucks shot 42% from the field last game, while Indiana shot 60%. So I don't think Indiana is going to be good enough to defeat the Cavaliers. I think it will be a better matchup with Indiana and Cleveland. I'm looking more forward to it, but not in this situation. I didn't want it to end this way, of course. I should stop prefacing myself so much. Cleveland is deep, and we're not going to go into too much about round two, but it could be a 6 game series if that's how it plays out. But um, yeah, the depth of Cleveland and the front court of Cleveland makes me think that they have a very large edge, and they're just a really good team. So what happens? Milwaukee has 164 million going in the next season. Cap is at what, 190? I forget. Giannis and Dame will each make $54 million each. Lineup looks similar. They will not have 3 minimum players, and Brook Lopez, who's making about 20 million this season. And they don't have that many draft picks. They don't have their first round pick this year, 25, 27, or 29. They have pick swaps in 26, 28, and 30. So the next time they actually own their first round pick is in 2031. So, yeah, we'll see how those pick swaps go. And I didn't even write down where all of those are heading. I forget. I do know they don't have a lot of assets. So, yes, if we think Lillard is out for next season and it's a first round exit, do the Bucks pivot? Because there have been talks already about trading Giannis in the past. And have to think about Luca. Because I'm sure Rob Pelinka got in Nico Harrison's mind about how AD is your guy and you can only go for AD. And Luca's not going to go to Milwaukee. You're not going to get Victor Wembanyama, things like that. I think that's how it went down. But at the same time, it makes me think, if Luka Doncic can get traded, pretty much anyone can get traded, which includes Giannis. Uh, he has a good contract relatively to someone who is as good as him, a top 2 or 3 player in the league, just pretty much at any point right now. If you're Milwaukee, I think you have to look at trading to a team that has young players that can give you multiple assets and draft picks because you don't have your own draft picks. And you are below the apron, so I guess you're going to have flexibilities there. So I didn't go through any teams. I can name young teams in the league, but we'll save that for another time. I think this series is pretty much over because, like I said, Giannis has had a really, really nice series. It seems like if he were to average 40, if he were to average 50, the Bucks still might not win this thing overall. Impressive by Indiana. Indiana played nine-man lineup, 9 men over 14 minutes or more in the last game, and the coaching has just been outstanding. So very impressive. 20-9 post All-Star break, and just has been a top 10 team in the league since the All-Star break. Very impressive. Next up, let's keep moving ahead with games I couldn't watch on a Sunday because they were too early. The Knicks and Pistons. And this could also be a segment of where I was wrong because the Knicks are up 3-1 in the series, but I gotta give it up to the Pistons. Let's go in order. Let's let's keep moving ahead. The Knicks won 94-93 and a thriller. Jalen Brunson had 32 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds, 15 points after returning from a scary injury. That wasn't sure if he was going to return and came back and just had a very memorable game. Carnty Towns perhaps had his best game so far. 27 points, go ahead three with 46 seconds left, and had a clutch fadeaway earlier as well. So had a very nice game. So Brunson, yeah, injury scare, was able to come back in the fourth, had a big fourth quarter. Um, Pistons erased a 16-point deficit and took an 11-point lead early in the fourth quarter. So they had a chance, and I've been very impressed by this Detroit squad. And I just hope that, like, if you're a Detroit fan, you're looking at this in the same context that I am. Even if you only win one game in this series, coaching, way better. Cade Cunningham is 23 years old or 24. Either way, super young and is playing like a veteran. It's just um, playing very smart basketball, playing a very physical Detroit style basketball, I would say. Um, Depth is better, team chemistry seems better, and tripling your wins is something that any team has done. I'm sure they have. There have been some pretty bad teams in history. So if it turns out being 5 games, I hope that we can look at this and say that our upcoming superstar is ahead of schedule, our team is ahead of schedule, and we made it out of the play in, and that's it. That's all. New York has been much better than I anticipated this series because, as I mentioned, I uh, predicted the Pistons in 6 games for this series, but yeah, I was wrong about that. They did have a chance, though. I guess there was a missed foul call at the end of this game, so I guess I should be fair on that part and point that out. Got hit. Tim Hardaway Jr. got hit by Josh Hart, and I guess David Guthrie, after the review or after the game, I don't know, admitted that there was a missed call there. So we'll see what the report says, I guess, tomorrow, but or today rather. I'm thinking my time. But officiating has been a bit rough this playoffs, and is that the case every year? Probably. The Knicks head back to Madison Square Garden in Game 5, and the Pistons have lost 9 straight home playoff games, tying an NBA record, which is not something that I would have ever known about had I not read it somewhere. So credit to those sources. Next up, let's talk about the Warriors and the Rockets series because That's the series. That is the reason why I am recording this at nighttime, so I can get this out before they play in 9 hours, I guess. Of course, Jimmy Butler had a injury in game 2 and missed all of game 3. And I'll just pause here and say, I don't usually, I've been paying less attention to social media recently. I promise. I post every day and then I get off. I need to interact more with people that I actually enjoy following, but it's been really tough on certain platforms and then just in social media in general. So, shout out to the people who follow me, and I'll try to follow you more. But why I bring that up is we really need to start acting like adults and thinking critically about um, players who might play aggressively or possibly play dirty, and keep multiple thoughts in our head that if one player on one team plays dirty, Draymond Green, that doesn't mean another player on another team should also play dirty because the other team's player plays dirty sometimes or in the past or before, whatever it might be. So that's all I'm going to say about that because, yeah, this one's bad. This one's bad. We should just acknowledge both of them and say that it should all stop. Um, but it makes me upset when I see people justifying it because they did it first. It feels like a conversation I have every day with children. Just, just saying that. Just saying that. So, he is questionable for game 4. And Steph Curry, um, it's like what can we say about Steph Curry? It's just, it's, it is what it is. It's like we're 10 years now. We're over 10 years of this stuff. And, yeah, I felt the same way last summer in the Olympics, and I'm feeling the same way now that his greatness and watching the end of this last game, his greatness is just unprecedented. One of my favorite athletes in my lifetime, and in my opinion, the most influential basketball player that I've seen in my lifetime, more than LeBron, more than anyone. And I'm saying that for someone who lives in another country and teaches children, and perhaps I have a bias there. But when I talk to people, I really think it's that. And he was phenomenal. He really was. I'm kind of just ranting now, but yeah, 36 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 52% from the field, 38% from three, had some free throws. Just took over the game overall, took over the end of the game, and Warriors lead 2-1. Uh, Chance to go 3-1 and take it back home. Wait, going back to Houston. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I almost forgot who was 6 and who was 3 for a moment. What else? Buddy Hield, 17 points, 5 made threes. Gary Payton, 16 points, 7 for 9 from the field. Quality um, role players in this game. Steve Kerr played 9 players overall in this game. The depth is a concern. Okay, of course, starting Quinn Post, who has had some quality minutes, but starting him, you're not really too sure whether or not you're going to get, 20 minutes out of him or, more or less. And it's the same problem that the Warriors have run into in past years when they perhaps weren't as good. Does this have the makeup of a 2022 Warriors team at all? It has Gary Payton, it has the role players. It has a new look with Jimmy Butler, and we'll see if Jimmy Butler is back for game 4. But it looks like he'll be back At some point, if the series or the playoffs for them go on long enough. If I'm a Warriors fan, I'm still a bit nervous about their depth, but hey, they got it done with 9 players in the last game against a Houston squad that is very impressive. So while I've been pretty much wrong on almost everything this first round, uh, I feel like I was pretty much right on this Celtics Magic series, and I won't give myself too much credit. It was pretty easy to predict. Uh, like the Pistons, I like to give Magic a lot of credit with where they are as a team, up and coming superstar, great coach, great team chemistry, improved depth, and won a game, at least one game in this series has played as good against the Celtics as I think they possibly could. So, I hope, same with the Pistons fan, if you're a Magic fan, I hope that you give the team credit where it's due. I think they are due lots of credit there. So Celtics win 107-98 in the last game. They're now 3-1 in the series. Jason Tatum had 37 points, 14 rebounds. Jaylen Brown, 21 points, 11 rebounds. Kristaps Porzingis, 19 points, and a big dunk in the late game. Derek White, 18 points, 7 assists. Probably my favorite Celtic. One of my favorite Celtics. I'll take the hometown guy, Jason Tatum, but Derek White's up there. And playing into my big overall segment from today, although I haven't made the comparison too much with the overall physicality of this playoffs. Drew Holiday has missed the last 2 games with a strained right hamstring, uh, considered not serious day to day, but could be a tricky injury for an older player. And Derek White stepped up in the last game and certainly helped with that. And Celtics still won by 9 points in game 4. Derek White mentions that, you can't replace Drew Holiday. And I think the Bucks know that as well. Paul Banchero, 31 points, 7 rebounds this game. Franz Wagner, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Team went 8 for 29 from beyond the arc, but they stayed competitive, even tying the game in the fourth quarter at 1 point. Game 5 will be in Boston on Tuesday, where Boston can close out the series. All right, the next series can be a lightning round because we do have one series that is now over, the Grizzlies and the Thunder. John Morant was out with a hip injury. Discussed that already. Very, very unfortunate. Has had tons of injuries, and that 2019 draft class continues to become more and more interesting year by year. But no surprise, if it did not happen, who knows if the situation would have been different. Uh, Thunder are really, really good. One of the best, perhaps ever, 68 wins. No surprise that they would sweep this series 4-0 against the Grizzlies. And they'll be moving on to play either the Clippers or the Nuggets, who are tied 2-2 and could go 7 games perhaps. We'll be going 6 games at least. Thunder will be well rested, but I will be glued to whatever series that is, whether it's Thunder Clippers or Thunder Nuggets. I am just so excited to see that one. And that's going to be the best one of round 2. Calling it right now. So, yeah, it's very unfortunate, of course. John Morant was out game 4. Jalen Wells, Brandon Clark, of course. But Memphis put up a very nice effort lost 117 to 115. Scottie Pippen Jr., career high, 30 points. Santi Aldama had 23 points and started the game. Really impressive by Santi Aldama. Just, I haven't been watching the Grizzlies close enough to actually see his production year by year, month by month, but it just seems like in this playoffs, he's way more assertive than he used to be, can create his own shots, and just can get to the basket much better. So, uh, I'm just really impressed anytime that I see him. He seems like someone that when he has the ball in his hands, I'm confident in it. And perhaps I'm just a little bit confused about this Memphis team. But overall, I'm very, very impressed by him. And yeah, they were only down 3 points, 9 seconds remaining. Couldn't close out the game. 11 point Memphis cut Thunder's 11-point lead to 2 points with 7 seconds left with a 3-pointer from Desmond Bane, but couldn't secure the rebound with an intentional miss from Bane. And SGA had 38 points. And yeah, I think he's MVP, but man, we're going to talk about Memphis next. And what a performance by Jokic. So, yes, the Clippers and the Nuggets have been an awesome series. Still, wait, who did I predict in this one? I predicted the Nuggets. Okay, I don't remember now. Never mind. I'm not going to say it because I can't remember now. It's too late. I didn't write it down. So, I'll do it now. I'll predict the Clippers now. There we go. Okay. Yes, because I'm more confident in their depth now. And with the performances that we've had, I'm going to give them a slight edge. But Nuggets win game 4 heading back home. Russell Westbrook missed game 4. So this is the last of the 6 series where we're talking about injuries. And his injury, while it's not as big as the some of the others that we've talked about in this episode, it does play into just the overall depth and the problems Nuggets are having with depth overall. And his energy has played a key asset for the Nuggets this series and just overall this year. Nuggets defeat the Clippers 101 to 99, heading back to Denver for game 5. And super impressive performance by the Nuggets and Jokic in an environment that is very surprising. I didn't know Intuit was going to be so into it. Wow, okay. Uh there we go. The Clippers, okay? Yeah, I guess Clipper Nation. Nothing else to say about that. But it's loud in there. It's pretty cool. Good for them. Jokic, 36 points, 21 rebounds, 8 assists, and is just looking like the best player that we're seeing from anyone in round 1. Lack of Westbrook highlights Nuggets' thin bench, which could be a factor later on in the series. Not really too sure on when he's coming back either. Saw that he had an interview with Ramona Shelburne, I believe, and he said that he'll be there next game, whatever that means. He'll be in the building, I guess. He'll be on the bench, at least. Murray's struggles, Michael Porter Jr.'s shoulder, although I guess he's playing through it, puts more pressure on Jokic. So I think, yes, overall, I would give a slight edge to the Clippers, but at the same time, think I I I think if they can't close out in 6, I would give a game 7 edge to the Nuggets at home, of course. So yeah. I don't really know how to feel about this one, and I'm so happy that I don't because this has been such an impressive series, such an incredibly competitive series. So we'll see if Westbrook gets back for a game five or back this series. And hopefully I get to actually watch the live version of this next game. All right, I have another lightning round series for us that I don't want to talk about too much because hey, the Cavaliers are up 3-0 on the Heat. They won 124 to 87 and will most likely close out the series next game. My Cavaliers outscored Miami 60 to 30 in the paint, out rebounded them 46 to 29, just highlighting their dominance in this game and in the series, and why I think they're going to have a huge edge on whoever they play in round two. Jared Allen, 22 points. DeAndre Hunter, 21. Evan Mobley, 19. Ty Jerome, 13 points, 11 assists. That's great. Donovan Mitchell was 4 for 14 from the field with 13 points, but it just did not matter. Clearly, this team can find scoring wherever they need it and had a huge deficit over the 10th seed Miami Heat, first 10th seed in NBA history to make the playoffs. I guess this is what I pretty much expected as well. Did not predict a sweep, but I probably should have. But anyways, that Eric Spoelstra could, pull one out like he did last year. He did it without Jimmy Butler last year. He could do it again. So. Not surprised, and give the Heat credit. Okay, I don't know. Was talked about you more in the off season, I think, but until then, this might just be it. But yeah, depth and balance puts Cleveland ahead of the Pacers or the Bucks. Defensive first mentality holding this Miami team to 87 points this last game shows they could have an advantage over whoever they play in the next round. The combination of Mobley and Allen in the front court gives them an advantage in the second round. They have the experience now. They have the better matchups. Not saying that it couldn't be a six-game series if they played the Pacers, but I just think this team is good and is for sure going to the conference finals. And last one today, I do get to do my Fox Sports Colin Coward segment of why Harrison was wrong, the Lakers and the Timberwolves. I said the Lakers were going to be a good matchup for the Timberwolves. I said the Lakers, I said, yeah, they come on, they have more star power and they can defeat this team. They have enough. And they are down 3-1. There is some contrast and talks when you think about Luka and LeBron both being in the series down 3-1. I'm sure there's plenty of Laker fans or Laker fans all over the country world that have already changed their profile picture to the LeBron James headphone, sunglasses profile picture, whatever. But I think this series could be over. And what an impressive night by Anthony Edwards, up and coming superstar. Just 43-point night, and is doing it against the top competition in the world. Whether it's Kevin Durant and the Suns, whether it's Luka and LeBron on the Lakers, just outplayed everyone and is proving that he's more than a young talent, is proving that he could be ready right now to lead a team on a big run in the playoffs. Can he get to the finals? We'll see. We'll see what might happen in the next round. Next round is a bit different. So, wow, LeBron James and Luka team up, and if they only win one game of the whole playoffs, it's going to be interesting because chances are if they had Anthony Davis, they would have done the same or better. But they still ended up the 3 seed, and the matchup with the Timberwolves might have been more than they anticipated. Certainly was for me. But the matchup was just not good for them. Lakers did not have the advantage. The Timberwolves' depth just outworked their superstars. Whether it was Jaden McDaniels, whether it was Julius Randle, who had 25 points in the last game, clutch playmaking, team chemistry all played a part in why the Timberwolves are winning this series so far, and while they will most likely win in 5, 6, or 7 games. But it's not over yet. There are 13 times in the NBA that a 3-1 deficit has been erased. And of course, only one time in the NBA Finals by LeBron James in the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers. Fun fact, only a league in America that has never had a 3-0 comeback, but I'm probably telling you things that you already know. So, anyways, I guess we could say if you're looking at resilience, then who else would you want to have but LeBron James and Luka together? At the same time, it hasn't happened just yet. So, we'll see what adjustments they make. LeBron James played, I think, 46 minutes in this last game. So, uh, there's worries about that. They played the same five for the entire last 24 minutes of this last game. So, does LeBron James have 42, 45 minutes in him for the next 3 games? I'm not so sure about it, but they play again on Wednesday. So, I guess there is that's working out for them good as well, going back home. So I expect this series to be over in 5. I'm not surprised if it's over in 6 or 7, but I am, of course, giving the edge now to the Timberwolves and have just been super impressive overall, top to bottom, this series. All right, let's leave it there. I hope you guys have a great NBA playoff week and just a great week overall in general. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Check me out on YouTube if you have not or are not. And if you enjoy this podcast and you have NBA fans in your life, share this podcast with them. I'm just trying to grow this organically, and it happens just one at a time. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.